Hey, everybody, this is Eric Mishi, Executive Director of SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education. We had a couple of schedule changes here over the week, so I'm jumping into this space here today. And Allison Ivy with the Eating Disorders Coalition will be joining us on Thursday. And so if you're tuning in to listen to Allison, I hope you'll make sure you put that on your schedule and take a look at it and join us. So I'm just kind of here today, Phil, in this slot to share with you a little bit more about what's going on this week for Suicide Prevention Awareness Week, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and tomorrow, September 10th, Suicide Prevention Awareness Day throughout the entire world. So this week, SAVE has embarked upon a pretty ambitious program agenda to talk to a lot of people who are involved in the area of suicide prevention, suicide awareness, helping to support those who are suicide loss survivors. And it's got a lot of information you're going to be sharing here this week. And I hope you'll take advantage of the opportunity to join us for as many of these live streams as we possibly can. You go on our website, save.org, you can go check out the actual itinerary for the whole week. And again, just incredible conversation. Just got done having a great conversation with Jonathan Oppenheim with a company called Willis Towers Watson. We've been working with Jonathan and Willis Towers Watson over the past 5 years to develop a construction industry specific suicide prevention training program called IBEAM, Ideal Body, Environment, and Mind. The construction industry has one of the highest rates of suicide of any occupation and profession, really anywhere in the world. And when we talk about the construction industry, we're not just talking about the iron workers and the folks that are building skyscrapers. We're talking about people who are building residential homes, multifamily housing like apartments, folks that are supporting that industry, folks that have any kind of role in construction and the associated construction industry who are involved in that industry are all a part of the statistics which show a significant number of individuals who die by suicide in that industry every single year. There's a lot of factors around why the construction industry has such high rates of suicide. As Jonathan pointed out, there are certainly issues related to substance abuse, alcohol and drug abuse. There's also issues related to the economics of that industry. A lot of the construction industry, and again, as I mentioned, construction is not just about skyscrapers. If you think about the housing industry over the last couple of years and the slowdown that has experienced, you look at multifamily housing, depending on which state you live in and which community, you've also seen a lag in that kind of construction. The economics of that industry have a direct impact on people's mental health. And because of that can also have an impact on suicide rates. If you look at the high rates of injury that is in the construction industry as well, that's also a challenge, is that you see injuries taking place, and oftentimes injuries, people are self-medicating. There is also isolation and loneliness that comes from that, not being at the work site. And so there's a lot of factors that go into why the construction industry happens to have such a high rate of suicide, but it's something that we are proud to work on with Willis Towers Watson and with Jonathan Oppenheim, who not only is a senior executive with Willis Towers Watson, but is also a member of the SAVE board of directors. So this week, we're going to hear conversations with a lot of different folks. And again, if you go to save.org, you're going to be able to see who some of these folks are that we'll be talking to all week. Let me pull up my itinerary here, and I'm going to kind of share with you some of the folks that we still got coming up today. We have Dr. Steve Lansing and Colonel Wayne Quist, who are going to talk to us about veteran suicide and suicide prevention. James Black, who is the new CEO of the Trevor Project. I'm delighted to be able to have the opportunity to have this conversation with James, who is leading one of the premier organizations focused on suicide prevention with the folks that are in the LGBTQ plus community. This is going to be a great conversation. Really looking forward to this. Deb Stone from the Centers for Disease Control. Deb has been a leader in developing the nation's third national strategy for suicide prevention. really excited to be able the opportunity to talk with Deb and learn more about what that prevention strategy is, how all of us can play a role in being involved with it and making sure that we're doing everything that we can working together to prevent suicide. We also have Kim Burdett, who's with Stop Soldier Suicide, the Black Box Project. This is a project that came to me thanks to my dear friend Maddie with Save and Raid, who shared with me that he and his lovely bride, Like an Apple, that's her name from Save and Raid and her gamer name, were kind enough to share with us that this program has a very interesting take on how they focus on getting information to better understand the risk factors as well as the other factors that may have played a role in the death by suicide of a veteran or a soldier. I'm looking forward to this conversation. It'll be extraordinarily enlightening. I think it's going to be something that shows us again that people are being disruptive in this space and taking chances and taking some risks with other ideas and other strategies. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about that. So again, throughout the entire week, we've got all sorts of incredible conversations going on. We've got folks that are going to be talking to us about 988, the evolution of 988, the importance of 988. So we've got conversations from local, state, and national folks who are taking the fight to try to save lives through suicide prevention, through awareness. And so it's a great privilege for us as an organization to be able to invite these folks to come forward to talk about the work that we're doing, and also talking to folks who are involved in other ways. For example, again, I mentioned Save and Raid. This is a program that's going on for a number of years, raised a lot of money for Save by getting the streaming and the game community involved in things. But more importantly than the money is making sure that they're bringing awareness and information and education to that online community so people are aware of what the resources are and what's out there and available to help them save their lives. And so I know that this is a great opportunity for us as an organization to learn from other people that are doing important work. And that's one of the benefits of the work that we're doing today. As we look at Save today, we focus on suicide prevention through what we call our 4 pillars: education, training, advocacy, and support for suicide loss survivors. And that also means that we don't do this work in a vacuum. We are not doing this work on an island. The work that we're doing is important, but the work that other nonprofits that are out there doing suicide prevention is equally important. And part of our job as an organization committed to saving lives is to lift up and amplify the work that others are doing in this space. It's really about the only way that we're going to be able to make sure that we're making the biggest impact to try to save as many lives as we can. Also, tomorrow is Global Worldwide Suicide Prevention Day. And we've got our own program that's going to be taking place. It's going to be live here at our office in Bloomington, Minnesota, but we're also going to broadcast it on our live stream as well. It's going to be an opportunity. If you wish to join us, you can go on our website and you can look at what time the event's going to be. And then you're going to be able to just come on to any of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and watch this live. This is a great opportunity, again, for Suicide Prevention Day, for us to kind of talk about how we can all play a role in saving lives. It's a really great privilege for us, too. We've got one of our team members, Brittany Sensor, who's going to be performing a couple of live musical performances, the first time that Brittany has performed live in a long, long time. So we're looking forward to that. And I know that it's going to be an incredibly moving, powerful, and important presentation by Brittany. At some point during the program, we're also going to have a moment where those who are suicide loss survivors can come up and say the name of someone that they've lost by suicide and give us an opportunity to reflect on the memory of those who've died by suicide. So join us tomorrow for Help, Heal, and Hope for Worldwide Suicide Prevention Day. Check out the details at our website at save.org. One of the things that's important for me to talk about throughout the week is the fact that one of the things that we want to make sure is that you always know that there is 24 hours, 7 day a week, 365-day a year help and support out there. If you're dealing with a crisis, whether that crisis has to do with suicide or whether you're just simply struggling with your mental health, that is call or text 988. And I'm going to repeat that throughout the entire week till the point where people are going to get tired of hearing it from me. But here's the reality, folks. There is nobody in America today that doesn't have access to some support system by using 988, by calling it, by texting it, by going online and using the chat feature. You can get the resources that you need to help you deal with that crisis in real time. This is an opportunity to get a hold of people who are trained, where your information is confidential. This information goes nowhere unless you specifically request for it to go someplace other than that conversation that you're having with that individual on the phone or on the computer in a chat box or on your text. It's important for all of us to know that help is out there. It's important for all of us to make sure we tell people that we know that help is out there, that there are resources out there, that there are resources that you can use to not only help save your life, but also to help save somebody else's life. So please, please, please keep in the back of your head all week, call, text 988. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job as the executive director of SAVE if I also didn't talk a little bit about the financial needs that we have as an organization to do the work that we do. So what we do is important, and it costs money to do it, from paying the talented team that I have the privilege to work with here, to creating the resources that we need to provide the materials, to paying the rent, turning on the lights, keeping this computer running, all of those kind of things. At the end of the day, our goal is to pour as much of that money that we raise directly into our programs. And so this week, we have an anonymous donor who has stepped forward and has said that they are going to match dollar for dollar every dollar that we raise this week online up to $10,000. That means your dollar can help us to get to $2, your $5 gets us to $10, your $20 gets us to $40, and if you give us $1 million, it'll get us to $1,010,000. So either way, it's a win-win for everybody here. So if you have an opportunity, if you know somebody who's looking to make a contribution to a great organization, doing important work to save lives, please consider making a contribution at save.kindful.com. That's save.kindful.com. Every dollar you donate will be matched up to a maximum of $10,000. So thank you for that. Thank you for letting me talk about raising money right now while I'm on here. And so I've done that part of my job today, although I'll be repeating this many times throughout the day. Here's what we know, folks. Suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in the United States. We also know that suicide is preventable. We know that there are ways to prevent suicide. We know there are ways by preventing suicide by getting people the help that they need, by talking to them, by asking them, are you thinking of suicide? Are you thinking about killing yourself? Those are tough conversations to have with anybody, whether it's a family member, it's a coworker, it's your neighbor, it's your spouse, it's your child. But you have to have them. In the day and age that we live in today, where we know that loneliness is an epidemic, it is a public health crisis, we know that the only way that we can successfully combat this challenge of suicide is by being willing to talk about it, by being willing to share what we know, by being willing to learn what we don't know. And because of that, what I want to share with you is one of the ways that you can learn what you need to know is to get involved in a program that we have that's called One Step Ahead. And I'm trying to find that here. My thing here just kind of went a little goofy here. Bear with me. Huh. Technology is a wonderful thing when it works the way you want it to work. There we go. All right. So what we have is we have a program called One Step Ahead. And it is scrolling right now. All right, I got a little distracted there. So One Step Ahead is a 40-minute program. It's online, it's free, it's something that is important for anybody that's got 40 minutes and wants to learn what are the basic steps to helping get involved in saving lives. We spend a lot of money in this country, rightfully so, on CPR to save people's lives who are dealing with potential heart attack, a stroke. And the idea is to try to keep those folks alive so we can get them medical attention and make sure they get through that crisis. That's really what One Step Ahead is all about. It teaches you the skills that you need to have a conversation with someone about suicide. And if they tell you that they're thinking about suicide, thinking about harming themselves, thinking about killing themselves, what do you do with that information? Incredibly important. So please, 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 the link is here on this banner scrolling, but you can just go to save.org and look at our education and training module, and I'll show you how you can do this. Again, absolutely free, completely free, and it's important for all of us to have that kind of basic CPR life-saving skill about how do you have a conversation with someone about suicide and how do you make sure that they get the help that they need. So please check it out. Please make sure you share that link to everybody you know, put it on your social media platforms. You know, as I tell people, sprinkle it around like confetti. We want everybody to take this. It's free, 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 and it's the kind of thing that SAVE wants to continue to do in the future by focusing on what we can do to help save a life. And so please consider going and taking the One Step Ahead and then passing it on to somebody else. So this week, again, just kind of a recap, and then I'm going to log out of here until our next conversation. It will be happening here, I believe. Let me check here. Will be happening actually in about 28 minutes. And so I'm going to wrap this up in about 5 minutes. Just a couple things again. Please make sure that you go check out save.org, look at our events section, and look at what the agenda and the schedule looks like for the week. Join us tomorrow for Worldwide Suicide Prevention Day. It's going to be both at our Bloomington office, but also live stream, so you can catch it on any of our platforms throughout the entire program, which will start at noon Central Time. That's noon Central Time for the program. At 11 o'clock, we've got a little bit of a resource fair and kind of gathering for folks who are going to be here in person. And then just a reminder that we have an anonymous donor who has been generous to say to us that they will donate up to $10,000 for every dollar that we raise today. And so if you donate $1, it'll be $2, $5, it's 10, 20, it's 40, 100, it's 200, 500, it's 1,000, 1,000, it's 2,000, a million, it's 1,010,000. Maybe it's 1,020,000. I think it'd be 1,020,000. I don't know math particularly well on these kind of things, but just know it's a great opportunity to help us continue the work that we're doing. Please consider going to save.kindful.com. That's save.kindful.com. You can make your donation there. And again, every dollar we raise this week will be doubled up to $10,000 to help support the work that we're doing here at SAVE. So please consider making that donation at save.kindful.com. If you want to learn more about SAVE, go to save.org. Check out everything that we've got going on. And remember, once again, that if you are in crisis or you need someone to talk to, call or text 988. The help is free. It's confidential. It's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We will see you back here in about 26 minutes. We're going to have the opportunity to talk about veteran suicide prevention. Thank you for being with us this week. We look forward to these conversations. It's going to be a great week for all of us to learn how we can work together to save lives.